Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and I'm back with another video. Just talking about a couple of things actually, which I need to stop doing it. I want to start writing, which cut that. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna just stop this video and do it right now. The next topic I wanted to touch on is self-care, and it's, I guess, a branch of self-care that is often not talked about. When we talk about self-care, most of the time we talk about like getting massages or mani-pedis or like the superficial shit. That is important. Don't get me wrong. It is very important to pamper yourself and to do those extra things. But to me, self-care is like truly self taking care of the self. When you get in a mani-pedi, somebody else is doing it. When you get in a massage, somebody else is doing it. And don't get me wrong, at the same time, it is important to let somebody else take care of you, especially if you are in the habit of doing everything yourself. Me talking to myself too, like doing everything yourself, taking everything on yourself, you know, doing everything for yourself, doing it all by yourself. Like, yeah, it is nice to let someone else cater to you and take care of you. But I want to talk about, again, branch of self-care that is often overlooked, and that is integrity. Having integrity is self-care. Being integral is self-care. And to me, it is first class self-care, top tier self-care, because baby, no amount of pedicures, manicures, massages can make up for the lack of integrity, okay? Being integral to me is about meaning what you say, saying what you mean, doing, being, saying things on purpose, like being on purpose, doing on purpose, relating on purpose, working on purpose. And what I mean by that is doing a check-in, like checking in with yourself and asking yourself, are the things that I'm doing in my life, the relationships I'm, in my life, not just romantic relationships, but all of our relationships, like, are these things really fulfilling to me? Are they making me feel good about myself? Are they making me really be able to feel and express myself fully? Are they really inspiring me to show up in a way that I feel proud, in a way that I feel fulfilled, in a way that I feel loved, and in a way that I want to ooze love, on those things of my life? Like, am I excited about the work that I'm doing? Am I excited to go to work? And I mean, don't get me wrong, you might not always be excited every day. Our moods change for sure. But for the most part, like, you, I know me. And if you had to give yourself an evaluation of your mood 70% of the time, how do you feel about you? How do you feel about your choices? How do you feel about your relationships? How do you feel about your work? Because at the end of the day, we are at the center of everything in our lives. We are at the center. We are at the center of our relationships. We are at the center of our work. We are at the center of our experience. Everything that we do comes from us. Everything that is going on in our experience, that as we perceive it to be happening, is through us, so it's like how we see things is a reflection of what's going on in our minds, in our hearts, and how we feel about ourselves. So being integral and checking yourself and doing things on purpose, being on purpose is so important for self-care. I think about this interview that Oprah and Tracy Ellis Ross had. Tracy Ellis Ross, like, she said something on that interview. She said, "My life is mine." And it was like just such an heart opening thing for me to hear. You know, like, my life is mine. I can make the decisions. You know, I call the shots. I make the decisions. And it's like, that's so, like, it's so empowering and it's so true. And I feel like we don't step into that awareness enough that my life is mine and your life is yours. And we have to use that to our advantage and take responsibility for our joy, for our happiness, and stop passing that on to other people. Like, stop passing that responsibility on to other people to make us happy, to make us feel joy, to make us feel loved, to make us, you know, to grow our bank account. Like, we can't pass that responsibility on to a person, to a partner, to a family member, to a job. Like, it's solely, the responsibility is solely ours. And at the end of the day, even passing it on to a partner, saying it's your responsibility to make me happy, it's their responsibility to make them happy. You know, it's not your responsibility. It's their responsibility to make them happy. And I promise you, if they're not happy, it ain't got nothing to do with you, and it got something to do with them. So if they're not happy and they not on their job of making themselves happy, then how you think that they gonna show up for you and make you happy when they ain't even showing up for themselves? Like, that is, like, it's so important. It's so important. Like, we have to be able to take control of our own lives, take control of our own joy, of our own happiness, and allow other people to come into our lives and be themselves, not put pressure on them to show up a certain way. You know, like, I understand having boundaries and, you know, having expectations, but to, like, put so much pressure on another person to make you happy, like, think about, like, and then saying, because that's what love is, you would do this if you love me. Like, that's such a manipulation, like, at its finest. Because think about it. As kids, did you do everything your parents told you to do? Every single thing, every T, you followed every rule by the book. You never disobeyed them. You never, like, did what they didn't want you to do. You never spoke out of line. You never, like, did you do that? Probably not. I know I didn't. But that didn't mean that I didn't love my mama. You know, that didn't mean I didn't love my parents. Just because somebody is not doing everything you tell them to do because it's going to make you happy, that don't mean that that person don't love you. That's such an unrealistic expectation and such a huge amount of pressure to put on a person. Like, people can love you and it still not look a way that is pleasing to you. That don't mean that they're doing it wrong. That don't mean that they're not doing enough. That don't mean that they need to change up. Maybe it just means that that's not the right person for you. And it would do you and them well to just allow yourself to be responsible for your own happiness and your own joy. Like, it's not on them. And their happiness is not on you. It's on them. Your happiness is not on them. It's on you. On my Instagram page, one of my pinned posts is a quote by Yogi Bhagan that says, "Once our own inner integrity is established, we can show up in relationships with something to give and not looking for something to take." And that quote to me is so profound, because it's like, once you realize that you have everything you need already, then you're not looking for what this other person can give you. Like, I'm already whole, baby. I'm already full right here. And I'm bringing you in because I like you as you are whole already. Let's be whole together. I'm not looking for you to fill me up. I'm not looking for you to give me something that I don't already have. And it's not always material. Sometimes it's love. Sometimes it's attention. Sometimes it's just a body presence, so I don't have to be alone. If I enjoy my own company and I like being alone, I'm not going to sit around and tolerate somebody that's causing all kind of chaos and confusion in my life just for the sake of having a body there, just for the sake of having somebody in my bed. Like, choose what feels good for you. That's what it means to be integral. That's what integrity is. Like, and that's to me why integrity and self-care go hand in hand. Like, they're so important. And I feel like that should be one of the main things we think about integrity. When we think about self-care, think about, am I really being honest with myself? Am I really being honest, and giving myself the time and attention that I need? Am I really like studying and observing myself in a way that I can acknowledge what is and what is not for me, and I can give myself what is for me, and I can let go of what is not for me? Like, am I really being integral in my life? Self-care is really getting to know yourself and understand yourself and accept yourself and love yourself. Like, not just showering yourself with things and with clothes. Yeah, self-care is really getting to know yourself and love yourself and spending time with yourself. Like, yes, getting massages and mani-pedis is great. Yes, taking yourself out is great. Yes, but what are you doing inside? Like, inside the house, inside yourself? How are you talking to yourself? How do you coddle yourself? How do you nurture yourself? How do you forgive yourself? What are your steps to forgive yourself? Like, when somebody else, do something that makes you upset, what do you do to build your trust back with them, or to forgive them if it's somebody in your life that you want to have around, or you want to forgive? I mean, love and forgiveness go hand in hand. So if you have somebody that you love in your life, then at some point you're going to have to forgive them, because no two people on this earth are going to always agree or be on the same page about every single thing. So if you love somebody, at some point you are going to have to forgive them for something. So if you have steps that you take to forgive them, what are those steps and the stages that you take to forgive yourself? We don't always do the right things or make the best choices for ourselves. How do we forgive ourselves for giving up on ourselves? How do we forgive ourselves for doubting or not having faith in ourselves? How do we forgive ourselves for choosing somebody that's not good for us? Not taking care of ourselves. What does that look like for you? Forgiving yourself and really nurturing and taking care of yourself. Like, that is self-care. And we don't think about those things. We think that going to get a massage or going to get your nails did is going to make it all better.